Let's go into the big story. That's obviously Biden's new vaccination mandate for companies. So Biden has announced that COVID-19 vaccine mandates will take effect for about 100 million Americans. Now, the general outline of what is going to be happening is that companies with 100 employees or more are going to be mandated to have their employees do one of two things. Either, and this is what I think the vast majority of people are going to do, get vaccinated, or, here's the other option, get tested for COVID every week. So, the thing that I like about this is that it does give people an out, but it gives them an annoying out. So it's just another motivator to get them vaccinated. And it does give people more options, which personally, I'd be fine with basically just a complete mandate outside of medical exceptions for the second option, but this works too. And this is going to be for companies of 100 employees or more. So this is going to get about 100 million Americans. If you want my view of it, I'm going to have to give you, after I read this, a little bit about it. President Biden announced the most sweeping, let me move my camera, the most sweeping COVID-19, President Biden announced the most sweeping COVID-19 vaccine requirements yet on Thursday, which will affect roughly 100 million Americans. The new measures include a vaccine mandate for all federal workers and contractors, and a requirement that large companies must mandate vaccines for regular testing for employees. My job as president is to protect all Americans, Mr. Biden said on Thursday. So tonight I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employees with 100 or more all companies with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforce is fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. Mr. Biden noted that many large companies already require vaccinations. The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers, he said. The Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration is developing a rule requiring all employers with at least 100 employees to make sure their workforce is fully vaccinated, or require unvaccinated workers to get a negative test at least once a week. OSHA will issue an emergency temporary standard to introduce the vaccine requirement. Companies that fail to comply could face fines of $14,000 per violation. So that's not $14,000 if their whole company isn't vaccinated. That's $14,000 per violation. So let's say you decide to not, your company with, let's say, 5,000 employees and only half of them is vaccinated or is complying with this. That can end up being a lot of money. That was just one of the mandates and changes that the president announced in a speech of boosting vaccinations and battling the COVID-19 pandemic. The president also announced vaccine requirements for healthcare providers that accept Medicare and Medicaid for all federal employees and contractors for the staff of Head Start programs, Department of Defense schools, and the Bureau of Indian Educated Operated Schools. Okay. Within hours of the speech, the Republican National Committee announced that it plans to file lawsuit against the Biden administration. Now let's listen to a tiny section of that speech that I think I wanted to highlight with you guys before I give my thoughts on this.
My plan also takes on elected officials in states.
Oh, camera again?
My plan also takes on elected officials in states that are undermining you and these life-saving actions. Right now, local school officials are trying to keep children safe in a pandemic while their governor picks a fight with them.
By the way, a judge ruled that the state of Florida actually can't do that. He's referencing the state of Florida in this instance.
And even threatens their salaries or their jobs. Talk about bullying in schools. If they'll not help, if these governors won't help us beat the pandemic, I'll use my power as president to get them out of the way.
Powerful statement. He will get them out of the way if they will not help deal with the pandemic. Now, what's my opinion? I like this. In my opinion, it's one of the best things Biden could be doing right now. And this is for 3 reasons. Let me start with the first one. The first reason is that right now we're seeing a massive resurgence in COVID cases. we're seeing now up to 1,000 people die every day and over 100,000 new cases every day. I believe the exact amount was about 124,000 new cases detected a day. All the progress we gained a few months ago as it was getting closer and closer down has vanished as deaths start to skyrocket once more. This needs to be tackled head on with a mandate. We tried the other options. We tried to kind of tiptoe around this issue, and it failed. That's the first reason. The second reason is the good bowling data that was released recently showing that the majority of Americans, of course, are not vaccine skeptics, but the amount of vaccine skeptics in this country, when it comes to the COVID vaccine, are decreasing. We saw data from multiple polling institutes showing it's consistent that across all these different polling institutes, that the amount of vaccine skeptics continue to go down. Before it was about at 33%, and now it's around 20%. As more and more people, whether it's due to the FDA approval or any other number of factors, I still think it's going to continue to decrease a slight bit more due to the FDA approval, as that's hammered home more. A smaller and smaller amount of people are being vaccine skeptics. So why would this mean that we need a vaccine mandate? Well, the reason is that the people who are still vaccine skeptics are the most hardcore vaccine skeptics. I believe of the remaining population of vaccine skeptics, it was only 3% of them that were still kind of like middle of the road or just slightly kind of like vaccine skeptics. The rest of them are hardcore vaccine skeptics. This could be because the politicians they support are vaccine skeptics. This could be because they did their own research and somehow discovered something that the top scientists in the world didn't, and they were able to do it just on Google Chrome or Internet Explorer or Firefox. Amazing. Wow, who would have thought that Facebook offers better medical training than fucking the best medical schools in the world? That's amazing. So we've made progress, but this last hill we need to cross is going to be a difficult one to cross. And that's why we need that vaccine mandate. Here's the third reason. As we begin to reopen this economy, this is something that's going to be needed badly by the companies that are trying to reopen and get people back into working. And this is actually something that companies are welcoming with open arms. The reason why is that right now companies are seeing a labor shortage. Now, this is good for workers who are going to be seeing, for example, a rise in pay, possibly. A lot of these companies are trying to find ways around that. My best thing I could do to advise any company right now is pay your workers better, give them decent benefits, maybe allow them to unionize, then maybe more people would be flocking to your company. But another thing, which is a shitty reason for them not to be getting employees, is that if they personally put a vaccine mandate in their company while a labor shortage is going on, what's going to happen? They're afraid that people within the company who are anti-vaxxers, which apparently makes up about 17 to 20% of the population, could leave. And if potentially 17 to 20% of your company are anti-vaxxers, depending on, of course, where the company's located and what's the educational background of the people who work at your company, that can be not helpful. It could push people to leave the company. And so, since the government's biting the bullet, that allows those companies, which are going to be vital in continuing to recover and grow the economy, to dodge that bullet. And I think that's useful. So actually, I think that's 4 reasons I gave. So, to recap, we need a mandate because COVID cases are spiking and so is deaths. We need a mandate because the people who are anti-vaxxers right now are the most dug-in anti-vaxxers, even if their numbers are decreasing. Number 3, electoral gold. And number 4, we want to help with the reopening effort and bite the bullet for the companies that don't want to lose a decent chunk of their workforce. This is a good move by Biden, both politically and just generally. It has my full support. Here's the poll. Exactly. Here is one of the polls. This is not the only poll, but this is just one poll we could highlight. Swing state poll of employer vax mandates. Arizona, 68% in favor, opposed 32. Georgia, 63% favor, opposed 37. Michigan, 61% favor, opposed 39. Pennsylvania, 64, 39. Wisconsin, 68, 32. Jesus Christ! Mitch McConnell. Thank you. Keep doing this. Keep doing this. Look, I don't like anti-skeptic, anti-vax nonsense. But it's on the decline, and you guys are tying yourself to it. And it's exactly what we need to win these swing states. Thank you so much. You know, Christmas is 3 months away. I didn't expect this early present. My God. We got one last thing we need to watch about this vaccine mandate. U.S. military walkouts occurred after Biden mandates vaccines for federal employees and military. Fighter jet pilots have walked out. This is exactly the reason why I said we needed to bite the bullet for companies. With the F-22s grounded, you can kiss Taiwan goodbye. I would hate to be Taiwanese right now. Hashtag no vaccine apartheid.
So I'm wearing my upside down flag today, and I think that's appropriate because it signifies an America that's in distress. And maybe some people don't know this, but my
Actually, it seems pretty calm because the majority of Americans are in favor of this.
dad just let me know this. A text message went out last night from the Secretary of Defense to all the active military personnel saying, you know, by 10 a.m. you have to go get the magic potion or you're going to be court-martialed. And so as a result of that, 12 F-22 pilots, the most highly trained pilots in the world, walked off the job.
Is there a source for this, by the way? Instead of a source for this, the only thing in response to this tweet by the person who posted it is, this tweet is so obviously being trolled by hundreds of pro-Byron farmed PR Twitter accounts. Ignore, block, and stay on target. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the diligence.
That's 12 multi-million dollar aircraft.
Any sources? Can anybody in chat provide a source on this either? And even if it is true, then those people are the stupidest people on the planet. Not only because they're anti-vaxxers, but do you know how many vaccines you need to take to be in the military? They pump you full of so much stuff, and you don't ask what that is. They just pump it into you. And now, when it's a disease that's killed 600,000, going on 700,000 people in the United States, now all of the sudden, oof, that's too much. By the way, if you're in the military, you already needed to get vaccinated. You already needed to get vaccinated if you're in the military. I just want to throw that out.
Grounded now. A dozen of the best pilots in the world.
Well, okay, again, you say the best pilots in the world. If this is true, which, again, I would like to see a source on it. We don't know they're the best pilots in the world. Again, these could be the type of pilots that, I mean, if they believe this, then how do I put it? I'll put it again like I did earlier. You could give them Elmer's glue, and they would thank you for the ice cream.
Thousands of hours of training, millions of dollars of training, off the job. 16 crew members for B-52 bombers walked off the job. That's just 2 air bases. My aunt, who is a KC-135 boom operator that refuels planes, isn't getting the magic potion. She's gonna walk off her job too, most likely. So now we're reached.
By the way, you calling it the magic potion only makes it sound better. Like, oh my God, the magic potion cure for the disease? Dope. Give it to me.
At this point, for all you dumbasses who have not been speaking out about this and the mandates, the people who are quiet about it, the people who are pro-mandate, you're to blame for the situation.
Can we look this up quick before we finish this guy's rant and very, very cogent points he's putting? Let's look this up. Pilots walk off job military. How many pilots in the US military are gonna walk off? Okay. CNN, this is nonsense. CNN fact checker shreds viral video claiming US soldiers will quit en masse due to vaccine mandates. CNN fact checker Daniel Dale has debunked a viral video making false claims of mass walkouts by active duty service members who are refusing to get vaccinated. In the video, a bald man with sunglasses said they had learned of mass walkouts by a member of the military from his father. The man, wearing a t-shirt with an upside-down American flag, claimed that the Secretary of Defense sent a text message to everyone saying you have to get the Mash potion or you're going to be court-martialed. The man claimed 12 F-22 pilots walked off the job in response. CNN's Dale did cover his claims and discovered they have absolutely no basis in reality. This viral video is nonsense. It begins with a bonkers claim that the Secretary of Defense sent a text to all active duty military demanding they get vaccinated by 10 a.m. the next day. There was no such text. Also, the military's actual vaccination deadlines begin in November. A Pentagon spokesperson said the defense secretary has never sent any kind of force-wide text message. We have no awareness of anything. Okay, so the dude's lying. What a surprise. What a surprise. Let's get back to this video. 1 second. Where was it? Here it is.
Situation that we're in because we're going to a bad place.
Are we?
The military is being compromised at a rapid rate, and with the F-22s being grounded,
they're not grounded. The F-22s are not grounded. There's no mass walkouts. They're fine, okay? And let's say they did 22 people did walk off. That wouldn't ground all the planes in the country, okay? We wouldn't it wouldn't be like, oh, China can now invade the United States or invade Taiwan, and we wouldn't be able to scramble planes. They would still be able to scramble planes.
You could kiss Taiwan goodbye. I would hate to be a Taiwanese citizen right now. So,
what is he talking about? Well, now that we have a vaccine mandate, Taiwan's gone. This is how these people think, man. Now Taiwan's gonna just sink into the ocean due to the Chinese invasion because we got a vaccine mandate that isn't even happening in the military, the deadline for it, till November. They're already going to have one, and the military gets vaccines for literally everything, and people don't ask questions about that at all. And these people that you're talking about don't exist. You know why they're the best pilots in the world? Because they live in your head. They're not real. I can't believe it, guys. Biden enacted the vaccine mandate. Might as well just surrender to China now.
This is probably not covered anywhere in the media. I'm sure it's blocked or censored by all the bullshit that goes on here, but it's time to freaking wake up, people. You better start preparing because your little cushy American life isn't going to be so cushy much longer when the rest of the world realize how freaking weak we are with this idiot who's in office.
The rest of the world's going to realize how weak we are. Oh yes, China, who I wonder what their policy on vaccines is going to think we're weak because we're mandating vaccines. Iran is going to think we're weak because we're mandating vaccines. Yes, I'm sure that's going to be it. The Russians are all sitting around a big table with a bear and a Ushanka hat, and they're thinking, you know, I was always against open nuclear war with the United States. But then I saw Joe Biden go on stage and say, get vaccinated, Jack. Now, nuclear war, let's prepare it. We're ready, boys.
And all this bullshit that's been passed and what's happening to our military. So the flag's staying upside down. Wake up!
Imagine having an anti-vax wet dream like this that causes you to, like, he's literally cosplaying his anti-vax wet dream. He made up a fake thing that never happened and is now cosplaying as someone who believes that the nation is in distress for the thing that he made up, that this person made up, and is now cosplaying in response to it. The very definition of a LARPer, and is now pretending for the situation that he again made up in his head, that Taiwan's national security is now at risk and we can kiss it goodbye. And then encourages the Taiwanese people to join in his LARPing by saying, oh, they should be concerned right now. Brilliant. I have a weird feeling that the local farm store near his community, where you can maybe get animal medicine, has had a recent shortage due to this man's presence. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.